Morning, YouTube. Dreary, freezing cold Saturday in Northeast Ohio. Feels more like late fall than early October. And of course it would because it's homecoming, and nothing in Northeast Ohio that is an event can happen in the fall without shitty weather. So I have been making this video so many times. I wanted to talk more about what I'm dealing with in therapy and more about me, more about my kids. I don't really know what people care to hear. I watch a lot of vlogs from people who are dealing with terminal stuff, and it makes me feel like what I'm dealing with is like nothing. But in my life, in and of itself, it's not easy. So I'm officially on sabbatical from my job. At work, after 8 years of service, you get a 4-week fully paid sabbatical, which doesn't eat away at your PTO, and I'm like a kid in a candy store freaking excited. And I'm going to take the opportunity to kind of work on myself and work on the house a little bit. I have nothing scheduled or planned, but save some doctor's appointments. And I haven't been able to do this in 16 years, and I'm tickled. So, some things are easier for me to type than to say on a video without slandering or bashing somebody else. And not intentionally, but I feel like no matter how I say this, should it be seen, it's going to be seen as slander. So maybe we'll just high level that part. And so I'm working to curb borderline personality disorder. We'll save you the DSM-4 breakdown of what that is. You can Google it if you're curious, or if you're here with it, you know what I'm talking about. It's a pretty heavy diagnosis because there's, in the world of mental health, there's things you can medicate and things you can't. And things that you can medicate sometimes seem easier than the things you can't. And this is when you can't medicate. You can medicate some of the symptoms like depression and anxiety, but you can't medicate the BPD. You can only talk through it. And sometimes the thought of talking through 35 years worth of shit is not something I want to do. I grew up in a household with somebody who had a personality disorder, who was raised by somebody with a personality disorder, and I haven't quite gleaned how far back that goes. But I had decided at a very young age that the buck stops here because I knew I was different. I knew my thinking was different and not right. And then I had my daughter, and I refuse still to pass this on to her. So the only way I found to be able to try and guarantee that is to be as open as I can be with her. She understands it. She knows how it impacted the other women in our family and what I'm trying to work against. And so far, she is the complete antithesis of who I was at that age. So I pray that it stays that way. So, it's hard. It's just really freaking hard because had a member of my family really recognize things for what they were at a young age, my life would have been so different. And it's hard not to be pissed off at that person for allowing this to continue and always saying, well, that's how that person is. And that's not good enough when you're raising kids. It's just not good enough. And it really pisses me off to think that some of the things that I've gone through, well, yeah, they were my decision. But it's because it was based off of all I knew. And, I didn't even really realize our household wasn't normal until I was probably in my 30s. Perhaps when I was disowned at 35 for getting pregnant. Should have been a huge sign. And at the same time, while I know that this person is unhealthy, like, what was just burned into my brain all those years is really hard to get rid of. and it manifested itself in borderline personality disorder. Now, I'm a fully functioning adult. I'm raising my children. Like, the one positive thing I will ever say about myself is I am a good mom, and not because I'm tooting my own horn, but because I see it in these little people that I am raising by myself every day, and they are thriving. They are ridiculously amazing. And yes, I'm biased, but I'm going to tell you what, my son is proving every doctor wrong. And I can't take full credit for that because he's doing the work. I just yell at the doctors, but apparently I yell well, and line up people for him to work with. So, I'm starting to face the fact that there's a really good possibility that I will spend the rest of my life as a single person. And while that isn't the end of the world, and people are dealing with so much worse right now than I am, like, it saddens me because, everybody wants a partner in life. Everybody wants their best friend. And I don't know that my point in life of fixing this will ever make that possible. Personal relationships are hard for me, and being Melissa, whoever she is, we're still learning that. I am whoever people need me to be. I'm like a chameleon. Without ever meeting my own needs, I don't know if you can undo that after 41 years. So it's kind of embracing this is who I am, and you know what, I'm doing better than any of you said I would do without you. Better than when you were here. And I'm proud of that. And my therapist tells me that comes from a core of strength, and I'm still trying to see that. And I'm working on, Stuart Smalley's daily affirmations because I suck at that. But, I guess my point being is, if we're not mentally stable enough for ourselves, then we are definitely not mentally stable for our kids. And I can show you a family history of that. And, there's a huge part of me that gets angry at an individual for not recognizing this and stopping it sooner, potentially giving us a better chance at a better life, clearer thinking, better relationships, like parents. It just breaks my heart that I don't have parents. And they aren't deceased, but they've disowned all of us. And I'm not apologizing this time because I didn't do anything. And so I live my life without parents. And that's, my kids live their life without grandparents. And it's unfair to all of us. So, I don't know. Today I'm getting Gabby ready for homecoming, and I'm not going to dwell on the darkness. I have some downtime this weekend, which is beautiful. So I'm going to, I don't know, maybe break out the crochet hook again. So, it's the tip of the iceberg of what's going on, and don't judge. So if anyone out there thinks they're dealing with BPD, has questions about BPD, wants to know how I realized I had BPD, hit me up. Otherwise, everybody have a great Saturday. I'm sure I'll have pictures of my beautiful girl later on tonight, and I hope y'all are doing well, and talk soon.